Welcome to the Gamer and the Weeb podcast, the only podcast that exists across multiple universes. I'm your host, Ryan, here with your co-host, Fondio Leo. What's going on, bud?
It's been a while.
It has been.
It's been a while.
Been a long time.
We've been lagging on everything, but I've been posting on my YouTube channel, so it's all that matters, right?
Exactly, dude. Get the cloud up, dude.
All right, so what are we going to talk about today?
Today, we're going to do something we haven't done on this channel before, top 5, so surprise.
We've been kind of manly on our last videos, posting about badass moments, our top 5 favorite moments. So we're going to talk about our top 5 moments that make you tear up or bawl crying on the floor in your own puddle of tears.
You know, since it's, no simp September, we thought that instead of simping, we would cry. So
it would make sense to make a top 5 waifus, but we'll say that for another day.
Exactly. Maybe next time. Comment. Let us know. All right. Do you want to start us off, or would you rather have me do it?
Yeah, I'll do it. I mean, my number 5 is pretty probably one that people saw come from a mile away. But my number 5 is me Bardock and Gine saying goodbye to Goku or Kakarot in the Broly movie.
I think that is something that the Broly movie attacked very well, is the backstory of Goku, and we got information on Bardock, and they changed the backstory of Broly. And I just remember watching that movie in theaters and being like, wow, like I am getting sad over Bardock's sending his son away. I mean, he sent Raditz away, but nobody cares about Raditz.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, Dragon Ball isn't really a show that really has any tearjerkers. It's more like of stuff that gets your arm hair like floating up, because it's fucking like chills on how badass some moments are. Like Goku first awakening Ultra Instinct probably gives me chills to this day.
Or Super Saiyan 1 being unlocked.
Mm-hmm. But like, there's not really any. I mean, there is tearjerker moments, but not really much like other shows. But I remember watching that one in theaters, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm about to tear up right now. And even like when I rewatch it like 1,000 more times, I still fucking tear up seeing Gine mostly crying and like seeing his son get sent away. And what's more sad is when she's like, "Don't forget us, Kakarot." And then this guy just forgets about his parents, dude.
Dude,
like,
I remember I told you that after we watched the movie. I said, you know what's fucked up? Is immediately he forgot.
Yeah, he basically did, yeah, which is kind of sad. I'm like, that kind of sucks, because like he won't know how badass of a dad is. But there is a family manga of Goku actually seeing his parents for the first time. Like Goku's already old, and he's already died, and he's in King Kai's planet, and then King Kai brings Bardock and Gine, and they see each other for the first time, and like just reading it, like fucking brought a tear to my eye. I'm like, dude, this is some sad stuff. This fan, I'm not sure who the guy wrote it, but dude, like, props to that guy for making a really good tear-jerking manga. It's a really good one.
Yeah. Well, if you didn't know already, this list is gonna have spoilers. So you already know we spoil things. You're watching. It's too late. You already know. All right. So my number 5 is actually Rengoku's death in the Demon Slayer movie, and in the I think it's like the 13th volume or the 11th volume of Demon Slayer. Rengoku, the flame pillar, he dies. And for me, what I really liked about this is I think they did this better, because I always compare Demon Slayer to My Hero a lot, because they're two hype anime and manga coming out at the same time.
Just that one has a good story and good characters, while the other one just has characters.
Yeah, just good characters. And Demon Slayer just has good characters. Yeah. It's a very basic story. But what I think they did way better than My Hero is, in My Hero, they introduced Lemillion, and, he loses his powers, and that's cool and all, but it never made me feel sad, because I was like, oh, like, we just met this guy. But it was weird, because I felt the same way about Rengoku, except I was actually sad.
Yeah, because I think the whole moral of him losing his powers is the fact that's more like inspirational.
Yeah.
Because like as he loses his powers, he's still fighting Chisaki, and he's like, I'm still Lemillion. And then even like one of Chisaki's henchmen was like saying like he doesn't have the power that made him seem like invincible, but still he fights on. For who? The girl? And then he just continues to fucking hammer down Chisaki until that iconic ass picture when he has a spike on his shins and one in his gut.
Yeah.
And he just has his head down and pushes what's her name again?
Eri
out of the way. That's a really good moment. But go ahead.
up until his death, we really see the Hashirin or the Pillars as pretty much invincible. Like if you look at all the other times the Pillars or the Hashirin they come into contact with any demon, even one of the moons being like the Spider Moon in the arc previous, they just stomp them. So you're thinking like, oh, like here's the Flame Pillar, he's like super cool, and there's no way that he doesn't just stomp this demon right out, and then he actually loses. And it was just kind of a shock and a reality check, and it put for me, it put the story, elevated the fact that no matter how strong you are as a demon or as a demon slayer, you can lose. And that was really great about his death. And it made me sad because I was like, wow, I thought these guys were immortal, but they're like, even the Flame Pillar lost. It just was crazy. I didn't see it coming, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. That honestly caught me off guard. I was not expecting. Pretty sure one of the most fan favorite already pillars just die right on the first arc we see him in. I was not expecting him to die already.
Yeah.
That honestly got me off guard.
And it was also I think Lemillion has a very bland character design, but I thought Rengoku's character design was very cool, and like you said, it drew a lot of people in immediately. And then to lose him,
because he has Goku in his name.
Yeah, that's cool. And then to immediately lose him, it's kind of crazy.
It was unexpected, but the ending sucks. But we're not gonna talk about that right now. So my number 4 is, this is probably the first tearjerker I've ever had in a Dragon Ball. Of course, it's another Dragon Ball one. I'm sorry, but it's I know we try to limit one per anime, but I don't know, dude. This one has to be on the list. It's Trunks seeing Gohan's body after he fought the androids in the
movie
in the past. Yeah. Mostly because since Gohan, especially future Gohan, was a huge fan favorite, and I think what makes it more sad is that when Trunks, the way he finds Gohan, was his eyes all white because he's dead, and then his face in a puddle, like you only see half of his face, and then like Trunks like Gohan, like that fucking. It's sad because that was the only guy he ever looked up to, because he didn't know his dad. He knew who Goku was. He only had Bulma with the OG people. It was only Gohan and Bulma, but who looks up to Bulma? I don't know. But yeah, like that was a really sad one. And then like of course that's what triggers Super Saiyan transformation, and that's for sure top 2 best transformations ever in the whole entirety of Dragon Ball series, in my opinion.
And I think that's what's really great about that is like the whole time, if you watch the movie, that he's trying to achieve Super Saiyan so he could help Gohan. And it's not that he doesn't have enough, like Trunks has enough pain in his life to transform, but he can't. There's something blocking it, he no matter what he thinks about his dad dying, his mom possibly dying, like all of his friends dying, it's still not enough to trigger that Super Saiyan transformation. But he finally unlocks it, and his master isn't even able to see him become a Super Saiyan, or even later his master isn't even able to see him defeat the androids, which is super sad. And that's what for me really got me with that character death, was that he finally did the one thing that his master always wanted him to do, and he wasn't able to see it.
Mm-hmm. And it was back in the day too, when like to trigger a transformation or Super Saiyan transformation, it has to come through like rage or sadness that overcomes you.
Not a spot on your back.
Yeah, I fucking hate that. But like, I've seen some arguments saying like, oh, I think it's bullshit because how does Gohan not know how to tell Trunks to turn to Super Saiyan when he's a Super Saiyan? It's just with anger. And I'm like, well, think about it. When Gohan finds out on what triggers a transformation is when Goku told him in the time chamber. He was like, oh, the power comes in a need, not in a I guess he's like, oh, like you can't just want a power, it comes in a need. I forgot the whole thing that he said, but that's what made Gohan think. But since Goku wasn't around, he died before the androids, so Gohan doesn't know the true meaning of unlocking it. But yeah, especially like when as soon as he's like screaming about to transform him, he squeezes his fist and you see just blood come out of his palms, dude. I was like, dude, like imagine how fucking hard he was gripping that fist
to break the skin.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. But that's my number 4.
So my number 4 is from a manga. Most of mine are from manga because that's really what all I've been doing.
Something with guts.
No, it has nothing to do with guts. All right, it's a show or show. It's a manga called Vagabond, and it's about an actual real samurai I was telling you earlier.
Hmm.
So basically, him and this guy, his name is like Tekuzu. Sorry if I'm butchering the name. And him and his best friend go off to war. And his best friend is like a high-ranking like noble of their village, and he's like supposed to marry this like beautiful girl. Well, during the midst of the war, those two get separated from their like battalion, I guess you could say. And his like best friend, the nobleman, he like cheats on his wife and starts doing all this shady stuff. And he tells his best friend Tekuzu like, "Hey, go and tell my grandmother and go and tell my wife that I'm leaving them and I did all this dishonorable stuff because I don't have the guts to go and tell them." And so he goes to the village and where he grew up his whole life, and he tells them like all the noblemen, his wife, all these people that like what his friend had did. And they don't believe him, and they start like attacking him and calling him a liar, and they try to kill him. So now he has to like defend himself, but he's like visibly he like doesn't want to fight or hurt anybody, but they're just calling him like, "Oh, you're a liar, you're a monster," and they're beating him. And you could just see that like he wants to like he feels so hurt by this that he wants to like die. And it was so sad just to see him, because the artwork is amazing. They look like real people. And so he just like, no one believes him, and everyone's trying to kill him, so he has to kill people he's known his whole life. And it was super sad and heart-wrenching to read, because like they call him like a demon child or a beast because he doesn't have a family. He was like the orphan of like their village. And so they're like, "You're a monster, we all knew you were bad, you're a liar, you killed him," and all this other stuff. And it's like he's like telling the truth, and his best friend even wrote a letter, and they didn't even believe that the letter, and it's signed by him. They're like, "No, that's a lie, that's not true." And he's like, "No, it is true." And then they try to like hang him, they try to starve him after he gets captured. It's super sad.
I haven't read it, so I can't really see.
Oh, that's gonna be all of them, bud. It's gonna be all of them. Welcome to my number 4.
All right, so number 3 is one that everyone knows. It's Hohenheim visiting Trish's grave in Full Metal Brotherhood.
Yeah.
I remember watching it for the first time, and then like I forgot about it, and then I was like I was watching just clips of different shows, and I came across that one. I was like, "Oh, Hohenheim visiting Trish's grave," and I watched it. I'm like, "Holy shit!" I forgot how sad this freaking scene was, man. Like cause like the whole show, like he their father just, he didn't like himself. He hated himself. Like he didn't want to be alive.
Well, I don't think Hohenheim thought he deserved to be alive, and now he's finally had, something great in his life. And I think that he knew that eventually, like, father would have come, or the homunculus would have come, so he had to separate themselves. So when he goes back and she's gone, it was heart-wrenching. It's especially because for me, Hohenheim wasn't like because we see it from the main character's perspective, which is obviously Edward and sometimes Alphonse. So it was just really hard because Edward really doesn't have like much sympathy for his father, but he loves him. So it was just really hard, like watching this character like suffer, and you're like, I don't hate you, but I don't like you, but this is really heart-wrenching, just because the feeling that you would have if you lost the person that you were head over heels for.
Yeah, because I think when they told him his father passed, he was like, "Oh, you damn fool," as he was crying. And I was like, it's a sad moment. But I think the one that, because like it's like I said, how he didn't deserve to live, and then like how he was like, it's kind of funny because for the first time in my life, I actually want to be alive. I don't want to go away. And as he's saying that, like you see his skin just cracking, like getting ready to decay and everything. And I think what really got me was when the granny came, and she was like, "Oh, Hohenheim, you're in town?" I was like, "How can you tell me?" She goes, "Oh." And she goes, "You damn fool." I was like, "Well, at least you died with a smile on your face." And then it goes to him, and he's smiling as he's like dead. Like, you see his corpses are smiling. I was like, dude. And then the song starts playing, and I was like, oh, dude, that really got me. That brought me to tears, dude. I almost went into depression that day. But yeah, that's my number 3. What's your number 3?
So,
another manga. Come on, hurry up.
No. It's from an anime we've both seen, so we can talk about this one.
Okay.
It's Askeladd's death from Vinland Saga.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to put Thor. I debated on Thor's or his death, and I really thought, honestly, at this point, I was way more upset when Askeladd died, because, like, even though we're supposed to hate him because he killed Thor's, he was still Thorfinn's like father figure. You know, like everything Thorfinn had was because of him, and he always tried to like keep Thorfinn in good shape if you really look at it. But he also would like test him. He wasn't like just gonna outright hand him everything.
But you kind of tell that he like if like asks like if I'm gonna die, I want Thorfinn to kill me.
Yeah.
So like I like the fact that like I think in like the last bout they had, the last little fight that they had, like he even told him, was like, oh, the reason why you're not winning is because you're going crazy. You need to be like chill. You need to like I guess collect your mind and like think of what you're gonna do, because like you see me and you go crazy, so which is the reason why you lose. But you gotta like calm down and like actually kill me, and then you might win. But Thorfinn never gets that chance.
Then it was just so sad when he was like, when Thorfinn's like crying over him, and Askeladd's like, kill me, and he's like, no, not like this.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to be warriors. I want to kill you like a warrior. And then he tells him, I have a question for you. And he's all, what is it? And he's all, what does it truly mean to be a warrior?
And that question's asked of the whole fucking show. And then
Yeah.
even like is it Thorkin?
Yeah, Thorkill, he asked him right before
He's
this
always
fight.
he's like his whole pretty much purpose is trying to find out what it means to be a warrior. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Askeladd's death.
Yeah, it was super sad, especially because like it's probably one of the most badass scenes in the whole anime. Like when he freaking like everything leading up to his death is so epic, and you know you really want Thorfinn to kill him because he killed his real dad. But at the same time, you don't want to see him leave. You know, he's such a great character, a wise character, a smart character with an interesting story. How he's half Viking and half like I think it was like Roman or something.
Mm-hmm.
And basically he's like I hate all of you, like all of his comrades. But then you see his like conflict when he has to fight Bjorn, and then just to see him like at the end say like I want Thorfinn to kill me, like he's the only one who can kill me, and Thorfinn doesn't get to kill him. It was so sad. Or Thorfinn didn't want to kill him, because you could see like that's kind of what happened. Like he could have killed him right there, but he didn't want to.
And I mean, honestly, just Villain Saga alone is super underrated.
Yeah.
Like it's not talked about how these other shows are. Like I know like
Fire Force.
Yeah, like Villain Saga just needs more love. It's great storytelling. It's great development from every. I think every character is also amazing. Like I remember like one of my favorites is the priest, and he doesn't even do much cool things. Just the shit that he says, like his little speeches are really really good. Like I especially love his speech that opens the prince's eyes. And then his speech is what made the prince to be an actual man, because he was pretty much a pussy, and his speech like really opened him up, and he was like, okay, I'm gonna be a badass prince now. And that speech was fucking sick.
And then he became a badass king.
Yeah, so that show's underrated. Please go watch it. It's really good.
Post it on Twitter. I mean, all of you guys post about Naruto. Might as well post about something new.
Exactly. All right, so since you've been talking about stuff that I never know, let me talk about one that you don't know. Okay. But I know your girl knows, because I know she's seen this movie.
Yeah, she talks about it.
And then also, if Kevin's listening to this, shout out to Kevin for telling me to watch the movie. It's a little scene, actually the last scene from a Silent Voice. If you didn't watch it, please go watch it. It's a really good slice of life movie. But it's the main character Shoya like finally forgiving himself in the end, because pretty much the whole movie is him dealing with depression, and he didn't want to live because he's bullied a girl so hard that she had to move to another city, and like that really fucked him a lot, because after he lost all his friends, so he was by himself, so he was pretty much gonna commit suicide, and he fell into depression. And then throughout the movie, everyone that he doesn't see as a friend, he would, I guess in his mind, put X's on their faces. So he was still, dealing with that. Oh, like no one likes me, so whatever, right? The only people that don't have X's on them is his family, and then the girl who he bullied, because he's trying to like, I guess, be amends and try to like fix it up with her until he commits suicide. And then in the end, like there's a part where I guess it's him and his friends. They're in like a little, I guess, festival. And of course, everyone has X's, and then he's always afraid to look up. The thing is, he doesn't like looking at people's faces. Like that's his thing. He always looks at their feet. And then in the end, he like looks up, uncovers his ears, and he sees all the X's from everyone's just start falling off. And then as that happens, like he's looking around, like he's looking at everyone's faces. He's looking at everyone being happy. He's looking at everyone like eating food and everything. And as he's realizing how like great it is, he's like crying, but he doesn't know he's crying. And then he even like looks at his hands and he sees like the puddle of tears he has on his hands, and then he just starts like fucking bawling eyes. And then like even the tone of the music is what really hits it too. Like just go see the last scene of A Silent Voice, or go watch the movie. It's an amazing movie, and like that scene fucking makes me cry, dude. Like finally forgiving himself. Like I saw someone comment saying it's hard to forgive someone, but it's impossible to forgive yourself. Is what someone said, and that sums up the movie perfectly. So the whole movie is him, like, you know, trying to forgive himself, but he doesn't want to because he thinks he's an asshole. But that whole movie is just filled with sad stuff. If you review, it's probably one of the best slice of life movies I've ever seen. But that's my number 2.
All right, following with the trend of neither of us knowing what we're talking about when it comes to
Jesus
to shows we're talking about, I'm gonna talk about a new manga real quick. And I know it's kind of crazy to put a new manga on your top 5 saddest like moments in manga and anime, but this manga is not talked about enough. I send it to Leo all the time just to like, hey, read this, it's so good, and I highly recommend to everyone who likes anime, who likes fighting, like if you like Baki, if you like Kengan Ashura, if you like Dragon Ball, Naruto. Read Record of Ragnarok. It is so good. Right now, it's an ongoing manga. It's only 36 chapters. And I'm going to talk about a fight. It's the second fight in the show. And basically what the manga's about is humans versus gods. And so it's basically they're fighting to see if humanity gets to stay alive.
Is Kratos in it?
Kratos is not in it. But this fight has to do with the father of men, Adam, and the father of gods, Zeus, and a bunch of gods are in it, like Indian gods, Nordic gods, like basically all the gods are in a council, and each decade a new group of gods gets to rule. So one decade it's Greek gods, the next decade it's Norse gods. So, but Zeus is like the leader of all of them. He's the strongest one.
Of course, he's always the leader of everything that we see, pretty much.
So him and Adam, the first human, fights the first god, Zeus, and basically Zeus hates all humans. He's like, they're not worth anything. You know, we're stronger, we're this, we're that. And Adam actually opens his eyes, like Zeus's eyes, to how good humans are, because basically Zeus's idea is like, no human can stand toe to toe with me in a fight, so why would I respect them? And basically Adam actually knocks Zeus like out a bunch of times, and like just keeps getting back up, and like for a while Zeus can't even land a punch on Adam because of how like strong he is and how like hopeful he is. And like Adam's reasoning for fighting is also really cool, like because Zeus assumes, like, since he's the first man, the one who ate the apple, that's what they call him, they're like, oh, you're the one who ate the apple, you hate all gods. But then you find out that he actually doesn't hate gods. He loves gods just like he loves his, like, children. That's how he sees mankind, since he's the first one. So he's like, I'm like, these are my children, and you're threatening all of their lives, so I will protect them. So he's actually just protecting his kids, and he's not hating gods or anything. He's just like I love my children. I will defend them no matter what. And spoiler alert, the reason it's so sad is because Adam loses. And they have one of those classic epic anime like showdowns at the end. Like Zeus grabs Adam and Adam grabs Zeus, and they just start wailing on each other. And then Zeus falls to the ground. They're like, the fight's over. And he's like, no, like, he was like, I was a fool. Adam died a long time ago. And you just see Adam like with his fist out like this, like extended like a punch. And he's smiling because he knows that even though he's lost, like it says it like his children knew that even though their father had lost, that hope was restored. And it was really cool because Zeus, who up until this point is depicted as a huge asshole and hating humans, showed respect to Adam and now views humans in a different light.
Basically like God of War.
Exactly.
Zeus is an asshole in God of War.
Yeah. And gets wrecked by humans.
That's true. Part mortal, part god. So what Kratos is.
Well, it's cool because Adam's ability, he's like the only one, because basically their weapons in the show are divine weapons. So that's how they're able to compete on the level of gods. So basically a Valkyrie from Norse mythology are like half human, half gods. And they transform they like basically like, have you ever seen Soul Eater? You know how they soul resonate and like, one becomes a weapon, and the other is like the wielder. So the Valkyrie becomes the weapon. Their souls bond. So even if so when the human dies, the Valkyrie dies too. So that's kind of another sad part. And then Adam is actually the only one with the actual ability. He has like, they're called like the Lord's Vision or something like that, and he could actually predict moves and stuff like that, and like basically like re-deflect attacks. So like if Zeus hits him, he could actually like basically nullify the fucking attack, and then he can hit him back but harder. So kind of like a mixture of the Sharingan, Seven Deadly Sins, Meliodas' ability, full counter. But eventually it takes a toll on him. Like basically Zeus is punching him so hard that he should die every time. And so eventually that ability wears out, and that's why he loses. Super sad. And like everyone is like cheering for him, and he freaking dies. It's so sad. I was tearing up. It's honestly one of my favorite fights in manga and anime. That's my number 2.
So you want some honorable mentions in?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So I can think of 2 unless Ryan steals one from me, but I guess an honorable mention would be Deku meeting All Might for the first time and asking him if he could be a hero even though he has no powers. So, and then All Might pretty much saying, like, I'm sorry, kid, like there's stuff out here that you just need powers in order to do. So he's like, if I'm being honest, like, no, you without a power you cannot be a hero. And that really broke down Midoriya.
Oh,
like, I mean, of course later on, I would have put when All Might tells him he could be a hero, but I think it's more inspirational than sad.
Can be a hero.
Yeah, that's more inspirational instead of sad. So, but All Might telling Deku that he can't be a hero is probably one of my honorable mentions.
So my my honorable mentions is for sure gonna be when Goku dies against Cell. I know you're gonna be like, this is Dragon Ball, people die all the time, but this death hit me like way different.
Well, reason why is because this arc or this last season was supposed to be the finish of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
So if Buu Saga never happened, this part would have hit way more hard.
Yeah, and it's like the passing of the torch was sad because he finally entrusts everything to Gohan in this one moment, and him just being like, "Oh, your mother, I said goodbye," and then like it just hit me, like it hit me hard. It hit Gohan hard. It hit Vegeta hard. Like,
yeah, I mean, Vegeta even said as of now, I'm no longer a warrior, and he flew away. So he was never gonna fight ever again. So that should tell you like the impact Goku's death was in that Cell arc.
Yeah, it was a great death. I thought for sure Goku's best death.
Oh well, yeah. out of all the ones that he has,
out of all 9 of them, this is the best one.
All right, so my other honorable mention is gonna be, of course, Jiraiya's death.
Yeah.
Mostly,
do you hear
his
that?
speech.
Do you hear that? Fingers typing.
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't put Jiraiya on the list. Where is Itachi?
But yeah, I think it's mostly because of the speech, because he was like oh, like it's because the frog with the sage, he was like, Jiraiya boy, just give up, just run away. And he goes, no, I have to find out who pain is, because it's not my ninja way. And then like he's pretty much like, as of right there learning from Naruto, he was like saying like, it's not what my student would have want from me. And then of course he was like, Naruto, you're the child of prophecy, I just know it. And then that's when fucking pain just goes in. And then as he's floating down, I think is what hits hard more was when he's like, is it right? It's like, Jiraiya the Godless, like trying to put down my pen and lay to rest. And he was like, oh wait, there's like a sequel for my book. What should it be called? And he goes, let's see. It's like Naruto what did he say? The great tale of Naruto Uzumaki, isn't what he said? And he goes, yeah, that's a nice ring to it. And as he says that, it goes to the clouds, and it just goes to the forest where Naruto's like traveling, jumping from tree to tree. And then he sees Jiraiya's like ghost hand or spirit like kind of grab his shoulder. And Naruto stops in his tracks as a spotlight from the sun is coming down, and he turns around, and there's no one there. And then he's confused, but I think he kind of knew too, like, oh, like something happened. But you don't figure it out till later on in the next episode when he finds out. But of course, Jiraiya's death is on my honorable mentions.
Okay, so I'm gonna say my last honorable mention is actually from Erased. I mean, how can you talk about tear-jerking moments and not even a mention Erased?
I was thinking about putting Erased on my top 5, but I was like, I don't know. But
so for me, what really hit me what was surprising, since we only knew her for one episode, is when his mom dies. I was like really sad because this kid's life is like kind of pointless at this point in the story, and the only thing he really had was his mother, and then she's freaking ripped from him, and then he's accused of killing her. It was so sad for me.
I think him like even like seeing his mom on the floor is what really shocked, because he was in shock. He was like, "Mom, come on, get up, Mom, get up." He said, "Please just get up." Like he didn't want to believe it, and then of course him being accused is even more sad.
Oh yeah, that was a bummer for me. That show's good though. Watch Erase if you haven't seen it.
Yeah,
we have a whole podcast about it, and then watch that episode.
Yeah,
shameless plug.
All right, so let's just go to my number one. Of course, people are gonna be like, "What? This is your number one?"
I know, they're like, "Leo put this."
What? Even though I talk so much shit on the show, but my number one's gonna be Naruto saying goodbye to his father Minato.
Oh,
And, like in the ending of the war arc. I can I just say I just love the point of like Naruto saying goodbye to his dad. He's just fucking bawling eyes, and Sasuke goes, "All right, cool, bro, let's fight." I'm like, what the fuck? Sasuke equals worst character ever in anime. I don't care what you guys tell me.
That's so true. I never thought about it like that. He's like, "Tell Mom I eat plenty and I have lots of friends. This is my best friend. I'm gonna kill him."
But yeah, I think just that whole scene is what really brought a tear to my eye. Like just the fact that he was like, "Oh yeah," hey, when you tell mom I'm eating a bunch of different kind of foods. You know what I mean? This kind of ramen, this kind of ramen. I made lots of friends. I did this. Pretty much like everything he's saying that he's done is what his mom was begging for Naruto to do as before she passed away. She was like, "Please make lots of friends. Please do this. Please find a girl like me." And I think it's sad too, the fact when he was like, "I know Mom said to find a girl like her," and he goes, but, and he kind of stops. And then he's like, "But it's going good." He was like, I'm not drinking till I'm of age," which is what she told him to do. I think just the whole, and then as soon as he starts crying, he's like, "Just please, when you see Mom over there, tell her that she doesn't have to worry about me." And then when Minta goes, "Okay, got it. I'll make sure I'll tell her everything," and he just floats away, and I'm like, "Oh, dude, that fucking made me sad."
I saw a good point about how like Naruto's mom was like, "Find a girl like me," and it was like they say his mom told him to find a girl like him, but in reality, Naruto is more like his mom than he is Minato, and he found someone like Minato, the girl version of Minato.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, yeah, I did see another one too, where another like I guess theory was when he said, "I know Mom told me to find me a girl like her," and he kind of paused, is because since Sakura is pretty much exactly like Kushina,
yeah,
like he knew he couldn't get Sakura, so that's why he was kind of quiet. He's like, but, and then he kind of skipped over that whole sentence. So I mean, it does make sense, because at that point Naruto doesn't know that he secretly loved Hinata yet.
Yeah.
But that moment, I mean, even if you want to watch it now, I still tear up.
It is a tear-jerking moment. Yeah. Him talking to his mom and Minato just listening, like getting out everything he wanted to say ever, you know?
And then I just like how he was like, "Oh, yeah, I forgot. Happy birthday, Naruto." It's gonna be the worst fucking birthday you've ever had in your life. If I'm being honest. Like, what a terrible way to start your birthday. Well, it's kind of a happy way, because you're pretty much telling Minato, like, or your dad, like, everything that to tell, your mom. But yeah, that's a really sad moment. Like, out of all the sad shit Naruto has, I think that's hands down like the most saddest moment out of all of them. So that beats Itachi's, that beats Jiraiya's, that beats, I don't know, the 30,000 things, sad things. That beats Obito's story. That beats Obito meeting Rin in the afterlife. Kakashi saying bye to Obito in the after, like saying goodbye to Obito. Yeah, that's my number one.
All right, well, this should be a surprise to nobody. Leo's number one, unpredictable. My number one, totally predictable.
Of course.
My number one is Itachi's death.
Psych!
Yeah, like,
shut the fuck up.
Please put the psych thing there in editing, where it's all psych, and then it's all the oh.
Here's a number. What's that shit say? Psych! That's the wrong number.
No, obviously my number one has something to do with Berserk or Guts. It's my favorite manga, favorite anime. Don't care, But I'm gonna put it's gotta be the Eclipse. For those of you who don't know what the Eclipse is, buckle in and just read it, cause my God, it's a long one, and basically where you meet Guts in the beginning of the story is he's a wild animal, and then with the couple arcs in the Golden Age, you see him become more human, make a lot of friends, fall in love, and then the eclipse happens, and all of that gets taken away from him by who? His best friend, the one person who gave him everything, ripped it all away from him, and it's just so sad to see a character that you saw become more human, make friends, fall in love, lose it all. Like, he loses everything, like his arm, his eye, all of his friends, the love of his life, and to see him be this valiant hero and get all ripped down is just so sad. And I can't even, like, I'm it's gonna feel like, wow, this is number one, he can't even explain it fully to us, like I'm kind of like short-sighting you guys, but my explanation is not enough words and does not have enough detail and mosaic, I guess would be the word I'm looking for, to even justify this explanation. So just go read it. It's so good, and I've been saying that for so long. Go read Berserk. If you're a fan of Attack on Titan, if you're a fan of Tokyo Ghoul, if you're a fan of dark anime, Death Note, go read Berserk. Or go watch it. It's still, I mean, watching it isn't as good as reading it because there's not as much detail. But if you're not a reader, go watch it. It's amazing.
Because there's a CGI Berserk, but don't watch that one. That's what I've been told.
Yeah, do not watch that. Watch the original series. I mean, even that one is kind of rough, but watch the original version. And don't even watch the movies either because they're not as good. Just go read it. It's the best bang for your buck, and you can get the cool deluxe edition, which are like leatherback. I call them my Bibles because they look like a Bible.
But yeah, I mean, at this point, we were gonna talk about what mangas to read. Is that what you wanted to do?
Yeah. Or just like a quick, like, hey, just so you guys know, we're gonna be talking about Dragon Ball and My Hero in the next couple episodes.
Yeah, because both those mangas are for sure in the top right now, especially right now in the arc that Super's in. It's bringing Dragon Ball back in the map.
Oh yeah.
Even though like Goku going Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken kind of brought it back, but it's not canon, which just kind of sucks. But this Moro arc in Dragon Ball Super is bringing Dragon Ball back to the map, like, and sure.
The war arc in My Hero
is gonna put Deku. I'm just letting you know. Once season 5 hits, Deku is not gonna be an MC everyone's talking trash on anymore. Because then everyone's like, oh, Deku's a trash MC. Like, yeah, just wait till season 5 and 6 come out. You guys are not gonna be saying that anymore.
I just like how they're like, we don't like him. He cries too much. Gohan. Gohan in the beginning of Z.
Dude, Gohan and Z was super annoying when he went to go train. I mean, it makes sense, you know. Piccolo's a scary ass dude. Who knows how Namekian looks like in real life? He's scary as shit, but still is able to befriend him. But
the next episode we should just make it like top 5 MCs that are worse than Deku.
Yeah, sure, we could do that. But
number one
for sure, like the manga I'm reading is Jujutsu Kaisen. And I would recommend reading that because the anime is getting an anime this October on the 2nd, which is for sure my most anticipated anime I'm gonna watch this year. It's really good, funny moments. There's a bunch of awesome characters. Of course, like the sensei that trains the main guy gives me huge Kakashi vibes. Like, it's, as I was watching him, I'm like, this guy reminds me of Kakashi. He has a blindfold that covers both eyes. He has white hair. Super OP in the beginning. I don't know how it'll be later on in the book. I'm not caught up.
He's probably gonna have some power that he had the whole time, but was never explained.
Maybe, yeah. It could.
And then they have like an epic fight.
It could happen.
And you're like, why didn't you use it in that one?
Because like the sensei already has an epic fight in the manga. I read it and it's super good. I was like, this shit animation's gonna be super awesome. Because Mappa is a studio which is the ones who are doing the season 4 of Attack on Titan. They've done other stuff too, and they're a really good studio. So I'm really happy for that one. Demon Slayer is disappointing in the ending,
but still worth a read.
But the fights are amazing though. Like, especially the last arc of the fight is awesome as fuck.
So for me, I'm gonna say, obviously I talked about it earlier, Record of Ragnarok. Can't recommend it enough. I've actually been reading a lot of older manga just because I've seen them being recommended. So I've been reading Vagabond, Monster. It's an old detective story, which highly recommend it if you like Death Note. Haikyuu just finished. It was a great read. You told me your cousin was reading it.
She's in love with it right now.
It's a really good story. I definitely recommend that one.
The song "Fly High" is really really good.
Oh yeah, it's amazing, dude.
Like
To
I
fly.
haven't even seen the anime, but I have it on my phone because it's such a really good
Yeah.
song.
I want to pick up Jujutsu Kaisen. That's one I've been checking out and looking at. I've been reading Baki the Grappler. There's so much good stuff in Baki. I just told Leo to pick up the show that's on Netflix. Because, I mean, it kind of starts in the middle of Baki, but it still does well to give a backstory. So I recommend reading Baki, watching Baki. And Hellsing. That's also what I've been reading.
And then and I guess you want to see some shows. Oh, you ain't watching any shows, huh?
No, the one I kind of want to check out is the Blair Witch.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
The one that's done by the creator of Bleach. I want to watch that one. I want to watch Bleach when it comes back. And I actually heard some news today that kind of blew my mind. They are updating the animation and redoing the animation and just making a newer version of Full Metal Alchemist.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Did I have to rewatch shit again?
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be the same story, just updated animation. So I really hope they don't put any horrible CGI bullshit in there.
It's kind of weird because just the animation alone was already amazing.
Yeah, I know, but they're updating it. So.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm probably end up watching it. I'm currently watching God of High School, which is like a really. If you like shows just to get straight to action, this show is basically a tournament. Is the whole show.
Nice.
So the tournament is called God of High School, and the first few episodes it's like a little tournament and there's one high school in the city. After that's done, I'm like, okay, so what's next? Out of nowhere, they just throw this shit throw a curveball and like, oh yeah, so each city that has the top 3 players, they're gonna team up into one huge tournament. And each person is even more OP than what you already seen in the tournament that we just saw. And I'm like, what the fuck? I did not see that coming. But
tournament arc.
Yeah. But pretty much, yeah, if you want action and like it's because pretty much the first 5 episodes are just pure fights. All fights. No, not really any stories. There is little mini arcs for each character's developments, but the story really begins on episode 6. So that's like when the full actual plot actually comes into full circle. But it's really good animation. The main character gives me huge Goku vibes. He's an idiot who's OP as shit. So, of course, he gave me huge Goku
That's
vibes
everybody.
From the bat, yeah. And then I even saw on Instagram, I was like, the creator of God of High School said that the main character, Mori, is based off of Goku. I'm like, oh, what did you say about that? I did not see that coming,
He's
you
even
know?
got kind of a similar haircut when you were.
Yeah, he kind of does, yeah. And
I think the dub is actually coming out for that pretty soon.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'm watching it. I'm sub because I mean the sub's really good. I love Maury's sub voice, and then of course his partner in crime. If you've seen Gangsta, is basically a copy of Nick, just that like even like the I say the character design is like pretty much exactly Nick. I'm like, dude, that's fucking Nick. It's just that, but this guy is like, I mean, he's also OP as shit. There is a guy who has like this little fighting stance and he has a cool, I forgot his name, but I thought he was gonna be a cool ass character and then he got fucking wrecked in the first fight. I'm like, oh whack, do you actually like that guy? And there is a dank wife in that one too. Yeah, I sent you a snap.
Big strong.
She's like a wrestler, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I will let her kick my ass for free. But yeah.
All right. Well, this has been the Gamer in the Week podcast, everyone. The only podcast that exists across multiple universes. Signing off.